Good afternoon, preppers. Welcome to Goshen Prepping. Listen, as the war between Russia and Ukraine rages on, we take life for granted here in the United States. In fact, obviously, even through our administration, make really stupid moves. But Russia, I'll be honest with you, Putin and the Russian people especially, I don't blame Russian people at all, but the Russian leadership, they're no dummies. They have actually things planned out very well, whereas I feel like in the United States, we're being left behind in many of these situations. I only have one article I'm going to look at today, but I think it's very important you look at the whole article with me. Russia spent last year upgrading thousands of Soviet-era bomb shelters, report says, in a sign Putin fears an attack on his home soil. Oh yeah, bomb shelters. I remember we had those here in America. They're still there, but you don't see the signs for fallout shelters practically anymore. Not only that, but basically our government has let it go by the wayside. We couldn't fit all the people in the United States into these bomb shelters we wanted to. Same thing with Russia, but guess what? They're actually upgrading theirs to get them ready. We're not. From the Moscow Times, Russia has spent the last year upgrading the shelters. They're now being made fit for use again. And here's a scary one. Putin says Ukraine could attack Russia and has put the country on nuclear alert. And there we go. Let's go ahead and step things up by 23 notches. That is huge, isn't it? Oh, wow. Russia may be attacked by Ukraine, which they've been attacking. And if so, we're on nuclear alert. Is that what his plans are, is to retaliate nuclear-wise? And look at this. A nuclear attack on the U.S. would most likely target one of 6 cities. And their little slideshow kind of gives a simulated idea of what it looks like for these cities being attacked. Like, for example, here's San Francisco. It shows a Hiroshima-style bomb, not a huge one. And I mean, honestly, these pictures are pretty awful. And this is Houston. Sorry, people in Houston. For some reason, they think Putin wants to attack you. Los Angeles, D.C., of course, Chicago, and of course, lastly, New York. It continues, the upgrades come as Russian President Vladimir Putin has repeatedly warned of retaliation if anywhere in Russia is targeted, and after he put his own country's nuclear forces on high alert. The work on the shelters has been done quietly without any public announcements, and they're spending hundreds of millions of rubles, equivalent of millions of dollars, to make it happen. And this article seems to spark interest in me because honestly, it's frightening. It's not frightening so much that Putin is building the bomb shelters. It's the result of the building of the bomb shelters. He's preparing for what looks like a nuclear war. And what are we preparing for? To shoot down giant Chinese balloons after they cross the United States. Big deal. We shot down a balloon. I really feel like the United States as a whole, not military members, but the military as a whole, Department of Defense, and of course, I love knocking this administration for the things that are going on or the things that are not happening. I really fear that the United States doesn't have anybody at the wheel. I feel that basically we're in a giant bus going full speed to nowhere, and we're about to actually crash down a cliff. That's how I feel. And I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way. Whereas in the situation with Putin, I believe he truly has plans of what he wants to do. But I feel like in the United States, we have no plans at all. And that can be proven for the fact that we have bomb shelters. Do you even know where one's at near you? I don't. I mean, we're out in the country. But when I lived in the city, I would have no idea where they were. So we need to actually depend on ourselves, guys. We need to be able to stockpile food and actually have stuff for emergency nuclear as well. I'll put a link to my nuclear series after this video. And if you haven't watched these videos, I suggest you go through all of them because there's a lot of really good information in there. Because that's why we're Goshen Prepping. We want to be prepared because, you know what? For some reason, I don't trust the government in taking care of me and my family.